shield, and those slats being installed into it. In addition, the contractor Odebrecht developed a detailed procedure for handling rock bursts, both from a safety perspective and production perspective, which was implemented very successfully. In total, they had almost 15,000 occasions of rock bursts in the tunnel, where about 18% or more than 18% of those were classified as high intensity. The implementation of the McNally system and the safety measures and procedures implemented by the contractors was very successful and resulted in no serious accidents caused by rock bursts on the project. So with that, I'm going to hand over the presentation to Engineering Director Brad Groton, who will bring you to the next project in Turkey.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sindre. Next job we're going to look at is the Grady Water Transfer Project. This project is located about an hour-and-a-half drive north of Ankara. It's to address some water issues due to drought in the region. The project itself is about 30 kilometers long and is broken into 3 drives. The first 3 equal drives, so about 10 kilometers each. The first of the drive starts at the northern end. The tunnel runs north and south. So that's going to be in your upper left-hand side of the geology that you see. And it's going to drive to the south, and that's going to be going down grade. The second drive starts at an intermediate shaft and is, again, going to drive to the south or down grade. And finally, the third drive is going to start at the southern portal, and it's going to drive to the north, and it's going to be going up grade. The initial supply of TBMs on this project were 3 double shield TBMs. They were all the same. The first TBM had relatively good advance rates and ultimately was able to successfully complete its drive. And this is going to be the one starting at the northern portal and driving south. It has the lowest cover. Certainly has some dramas associated with mining, as many projects do, but nothing that couldn't be overcome. The second drive was started at the intermediate shaft and drove to the south. They initially had some very good progress, but ultimately, as the cover got deeper, saw more and more issues, and ultimately became flooded, and was deemed to be a complete loss. It's the third machine that really is the most interesting on this project from a challenges point of view. From the very beginning of the project, it ran into a lot of issues associated with Karst conditions, faults, and high pressure seeing those fault zones. Even though a lot of grouting was done, including urethanes and chemical grouts, it was very difficult to control the water. The hydrology in that section proved to be very, very complicated. And so ultimately the machine entered a fault zone, and it's believed that the telescopic zone in the double shield was crushed based on the fact that ultimately a thrust cylinder was found in the backup. To kind of give you an idea of what these fault zones, what the material in the fault zones were and what the machine was encountering, we have a short video. While that queues up, I'll just orient you what we're looking at. The machine has been stuck, and this is a bypass tunnel, which is going through the segments, and the heading is to the left, which is where the TBM is located. Once the video started, which we'll see a fair amount of water coming in, that water has been increasing pretty steadily over the last 2 minutes, but for the sake of time, we'll just assume that you see water slowly increasing up to this point.
Gel yakına.
high pressure associated with that project. What you couldn't necessarily see was the fact that the drilling was done behind the segments to relieve the pressure. So pretty severe conditions for a machine to address. It was at this point that Robbins became involved in the project. So there's a number of interesting aspects to the project. It's difficult to go through all of them, but a couple.
Đây các bạn ơi, rượu này rượu chảy rất chi là đều các bạn. Chảy rất chi là đều nhé. Rất chi đều các bạn. Cái ống này là mình nấu bằng nồi này nấu rượu rất đảm bảo, chứ không giống như là cái nồi trắng mà nấu rượu uống rất chi là độc hại các bạn. Nó không có nhiều cái ống của mình làm cái này nấu rất chi là đảm bảo nhé. Lại sắp xong đó bạn.
Sắp xong rồi thầy, thấy được tiếng không?
Còn có mấy phút
Tốt quá rồi.
hơn can rồi, gần 1,5 cân rồi.